I'm going to get right to it. The first thing I want to say is that yesterday, um, on a Sunday, incredibly, Marcia and I were on the phone with Josh Phelps, the founder of um, Prospect Pro, for 40 minutes. This guy is so humble, so real. I don't know too many people that are in an organization that would give you that kind of time. When we're basically just saying that, hey, we're capable of bringing a pretty nice team to the table and whatever else. I started messaging him on Facebook, shared some interest and concerns and whatever, and immediately we started connecting. And so now I have a connection with him all the time. So I'm not sure why. I'm seeing you, Leon, big in the middle of my screen. Is everybody seeing Leon or are they seeing me?
I'm seeing
You.
you, Pat.
Yeah,
Okay.
just seeing you, buddy.
All right. So, perfect.
Hey,
First,
Pat, just so you know, the guys, uh, Darlene and Connor, they really don't know anything about Finance Pro or about Stream Pro.
okay.
So you might want to right up front. Probably you were, but if you could just,
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to
okay,
yeah, I'm not going to be able to get too much into it just because everybody's going to have limited time. For those of you who invited people, and for those of you who are watching that were invited by me, watching the video, the recording now, um, any questions you have or whatever, please reach out to me. But basically, Josh Phelps is the founder of an organization called Finance Pro and started a streaming company called Stream Pro. And then just a number of issues happened. And the biggest thing was the fact that there were people that put together a lot of stuff with streaming that was illegal. They were continually reassured that it was legal, that they had the documentation, but they finally never did happen. And so Josh is just a godly man. His vision is very much ministry minded, understanding that it takes place outside the four walls of the church. Really blessed my wife and I an awful lot being able to talk with him. And his goal is to raise up a lot of different leaders and to develop what he calls the super team, kind of like the way pro sports buys a championship team. He said, I'm not going to buy my team, but we're going to build a team. I thought that was pretty cool. But basically, I'll give an overview of what this is going to be looking like. And so we'll kind of leave behind the past and the process. But May 28th, 2 days from now, the Finance Pro Savings Program will be made available to everyone, and that will be 1 million discounts. That thing is incredible, and worldwide. So that's amazing. Now, let me just say, I was going to kind of share this more toward the end, but what's happening is they're opening the door for anyone to be able to try and kick the tires and whatever with this organization, with this network marketing company. And so it's going to be way more than just a streaming service like it originally had been set up to be. And one of those benefits is going to be what they call the Finance Pro Savings Program. And this is not just like the big corporate, and stuff like that. Even local companies are going to be participating, a lot of them with this. So you can do a search and you can find a company that's in your area. So maybe it's a restaurant. Like one of my favorite restaurants in Cabot is Peppermill, and Peppermill is going to work with them, then you can get 10% or 20% or whatever that amount might be off. Plus all of your national chains, 800,000 hotels worldwide just a whole lot. And it's going to be 100% free in the month of June. So what's going to happen is people are going to be given an opportunity to come in, watch videos, learn about the streaming service, which we're going to talk about, learning about the wellness service, which we're going to talk about. In fact, I'm going to share my screen, and this is the one thing that I did get set up that I want everyone to be able to see. One second, please. So, Finance Pro is the parent company. They have a streaming service, they have a new wireless service, and they have a wellness service. And I'm going to talk about each of those individually, but there'll be different prices for the different things, and you'll have an opportunity to be an agent to offer these, whether you want to offer just the streaming or just the wireless or the wellness or all of them, but you'll have access to those. And they're all going to be very, very powerful. And at the end of the call, I'm going to talk about an opportunity to actually be a founder and invest into this company and what they're going to be doing. And I did that the first round when all we knew about was a streaming service. And it blew my mind when I was on a call last night as one of the original founders, of what we're going to be doing and what that can look like for everybody. So, this is, like I said, it's going to be 100% free in June, and that is going to be our lead magnet to be able to give people an opportunity. Maybe you're flying somewhere, you can go and save 30% on a flight or 10% or whatever that might look like. You're not going to pay any money to be able to use that service for a whole month. That's a big deal. So, what they're going to do is, for those of you who are familiar with Finance Pro, the way they set it up with what we had, it was called Stream Pro, is they had a holding tank. So when someone came into your organization, they paid 99.95 and they became an agent, and then they got a streaming service with that, and they got a back office, and it showed them, who was in their team and whatever. But when someone new comes in, they go into a holding tank for 5 days. After 5 days, the company assigns them automatically. But what they're going to do with this is they're going to put people into a holding tank. So if you bring in 100 people, they're going to go into your holding tank. And then during that time, they can be watching videos, they can be looking at all the different services, they can use the savings club, do all of this kind of stuff. And then at the end of that time, they can pull the trigger. Okay. So, what we're going to do, my friend Mike and I, we are going to set up our telemarketing organization that we have, and we're going to blow this thing out all over the country. And so people are going to get a phone call and they're going to be talking about these services. And hey, you got an opportunity to look at this thing. It doesn't cost you any money. And we want everybody to be a part of this. This thing is going to sweep the world. You want to be a part of it. You have a chance to be in at the top when this thing is building and growing. And so my goal is going to be to talk to hundreds of people in the next weeks. And the reason I'm going to do that is because there's no obligation to them. They can come in and just try to their heart's content, study, ask questions, learn, do all that kind of stuff. They get to the end of the 1 month trial and they go, you know what, this is totally for me. They pay their money and they start running. Or they don't pay their money and they jump out. There's nothing they have to lose. So that's a really big deal right there. And so with the discounts, they're going to have a free platform, and that's going to be up to 10% savings on travel, for example. And then there's going to be a paid platform, and that's going to have larger discounts. So for those who are active agents currently, then when you renew, you're going to get multiple things. And one of them is, and this is going to be June 15th, it's called the Pro Wellness Club. And the Pro Wellness Club is a program they designed that's going to offer discounts and a lot of other different things, meds, different things for people in the medical side. It's not insurance, so anybody can use it that wishes to. So that's a big deal. The next part is wireless. What they did is they did contractual arrangements, and everything we're talking about now is legal and contractual, and they have all of the paperwork and everything. You'll be able to see all of this. But listening and talking to Josh, like my wife and I did for such a long time yesterday, made it very, very clear this man is a man of integrity and character, and that he bleeds that. He really does. But he's also a very humble man. Whoops, hold on a second here. I just took that. Oh, that's okay. He's a very humble man, and that was a real blessing too. I don't know why I just lost that. Let me try. There we go. Okay. But what's going to happen is a family can get 4 lines with a wireless service that uses AT&T's service, can get 4 lines for $99.95 a month. That's incredible. There's going to be a 2-line service, and they're going to be able to accommodate other different services as well if someone needs a different plan. There's going to be a lot more information coming out about that, but you'll pay another $25 to be able to offer that service. But that's going to be huge. And it's all legal. They're using the AT&T platform, but using other carriers. So what's going to happen is people, maybe you're paying $200 a month for 4 lines, then you'll cut that in half. And you'll get to help a whole lot of people with that. That's going to be incredible. The wellness service is going to be $199 for a family, no matter how many members of the family, or $99 for an individual, and then $25 more to be an agent to be able to offer it. This is not health insurance, so you don't have to have a license. But that's really an incredible thing, because there's a lot of people out there who could use discounts on drugs or different things like that, or on medical services that they don't currently have. Some people are going to be affected by that more than others, but at least it's there as an option. The streaming. Okay, the streaming is not going to be called Stream Pro. There was a man on a Zoom call the other day, and he goes, "Man, I just purchased all those, or purchased some domains, web domains for nothing." This is the kind of example of the attitude that we are just not going to put up with. And I had the same thought, but I thought, you know what? I'll just get another domain, or I'll use the one I got. I didn't buy anything that had Stream Pro in it or anything like that. But we've got to watch those kind of things, because those kind of attitudes are what keep people from growing and building. And one of the other attitudes is, well, what about, what we did have? What about the pay-per-view? What about all that? And I just wrote this down this morning. 100% of what could be or might be is still zero. This is something that I've learned in sales. People will tell me, "Man, I've got 5 things I'm working on right now, and I think they're all going to go through." That's zero commission. And you have to look at it that way. So it's the same thing with this. Being able to maybe have, pay-per-view for free, or to be able to have certain services for free. It wasn't real. It never was real. And even though Tony and others that were part of this thing promised, what do you call it? Promised Josh that it was real. It never was. And so that's a big deal right there. So I'm going to stop sharing here real quick. But anyway, so what is really a big deal with this is that the streaming is going to be different, and it's all going to be legal. That's the most important thing to know. And so we all are in a place where we have to pivot. If we've talked to people and they haven't signed up and we told them that you could do this or you could do that, get access to all of these pro sports and whatever without having to pay for it, those things aren't going to happen. So if people that you're talking to don't know anything about all that anyway, then you just tell them this is going to be a really, really good streaming service. And one of the things that I like the best is they, in Tony's, in I always say Tony, in Josh Felt's words, we're going to protect the house. We are going to make sure that everything we do is legal. We're not going to have to worry about being sued, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things that I love so much is it's going to have a DVR service. One of the things I love so much about YouTube TV is I have really strange hours that I keep as far as work, and I like to watch different programs. I'll, I can't watch them if I have to watch them live, and they were on 5 hours earlier. So this is going to have a DVR service, which is really a big deal. It's going to be fully, and this is the thing to remember, you can't record what was never legal. And that's why the other service didn't offer DVR. But this is going to be fully automated day one. So when I think it's going to be like the first part of July or whatever, when this goes live with the new service, I think it actually is like July 7th. Um, I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't hold me to that. But when it goes live, it's going to be totally automated. So the service will go on as soon as someone pays. And then as soon as they don't pay, the service goes off. It's that simple. Um, the marketing system we had before, which we paid $40 a month for, has been changed to a free marketing service, which is amazing. No cost whatsoever, but it's going to work the same way. So basically, what they're going to do is they're going to get a bunch of people that are going to, excuse me, somebody put a comment up there and it kind of threw me. Hold on one second. I'm going to turn my chat off. Okay. Um, the marketing system, you can get as many people as you want using it or whatever, and it's free. So a lead comes in and you can turn off, I call it it's the rotator, and then the lead will go to you. You turn the rotator on, it'll continue to go to the people below you until someone has theirs off, and it's just like a gate system, and it will hold it for that person, that first one that has that turned off. That's going to be phenomenal. The wireless is going to be phenomenal. There's going to be a huge reveal on June 30th. And I want to really stress this, on July 18th to the 20th, there's going to be a conference in Atlanta. And there's going to be a general live conference. There's going to be a virtual conference. And there's going to be a VIP conference where you get to meet Josh and the other leaders and have lunch and do whatever. And there's some certain elements that are connected with that. We're going to learn more about that. All of the different aspects of this have their own customer service. So we're going to have customer service for the wellness, customer service for the wireless, customer service for the streaming. And they've already got customer service for the savings program. We're going to have one master dashboard that will connect everything together. So you'll be able to see all the different stuff. That's going to be really, really cool. But let me give you an example. Finance Pro itself already has over 10,000 affiliate partners. So it's real important to understand with the telemarketing thing I'm talking about, we will be able to get the word out to people all over the country. And they will have a link where they can jump in, and all they're going to do is say, I want to try this out. And they're all going to go in my holding tank. And then as we get this thing going, and then we get to the end of the free trial and people go, man, I want this, then I'm going to start placing those under you guys. So that's going to be a big deal. So it's really important that if you are not active, that you get active and keep active. Now, you can't pay any money right now. So if someone says, hey, I want to have someone join, they're wanting to pay, you can't. Okay. All they can do is go in and use it for free, that's a good problem right there, huh? Um, and then the other thing, and I'm going to be able to wrap this up here for sure before 11:30. I know Randy asked about that, maybe some others, but the founders pool on the first one on Stream Pro was you could put $2,500 into it and you would get a percentage of the company profit for the rest of the time the company was in existence and you were alive. And there were different things. One of them was saying they were going to pay that out monthly, another one quarterly. There's a new founders pool now. And that founders pool, instead of being 2,500 for 100 units, it's going to be $5,000 for 200 units. So they're going to put $1 million of investment on the table right out of the chute with that money. Now, I'm going to be one of the founders. One of the things is there's people that would say, you know what, man, I just can't afford 5,000. So what he said, what Josh said, is he's willing to help people. So like if somebody wants to, two people go in together at 2,500 each, they'll be able to do that. I don't know if it can be less than that and more people or how that's going to work, but that's the kind of heart that Josh has. He really wants to help people. But what's going to happen is this. Let's say their goal is to get about a little over 2 million users on the wireless program alone, for example, and then to sell that block of business in about 2 years. They believe that will estimate out at somewhere north of $2 billion. $2 billion. And then what they'll do is they'll take that money, they'll take a percentage of that money, and that will be divided up among the 200 founders. That's going to be some big, big money. Josh believes with everything in him that the first payout for the phone, the founders that are part of the wireless, the wireless part alone, that payout is going to be 7 figures for each of the founders. So we're talking about over $1 million per founder. So that's going to be a big deal. We're looking at a whole lot that's going to happen with that. Then there's going to be payout for the streaming, a percentage of the streaming business, a percentage of the wellness business, and a percentage of the sale, the shopping club business. So all of this is going to equate into an opportunity to basically not only be a part of the company on the front end as it builds out and grows, but it's also going to be an opportunity to be an investor in the company and own part of that profit, which is going to be awesome. So what's going to happen after they sell that block of wireless business? They're just going to turn around and keep selling and building new blocks and then selling them off again. And you can do this when you've got carriers and you've got legal elements to everything, the wellness, the the wireless, the streaming, every single one of these aspects are going to be legal. Nothing will be challengeable. He's met with multiple attorneys and got all the information and is 100% confident and has seen the information in writing from his attorneys that they're doing everything by the book. And the other thing he found out was just how expensive streaming services are. They're ridiculously costly, but he is investing his own money. He's, biting the bullet on some stuff, and they're going to be able to not have to charge an arm and a leg for people to experience a lot of really good experiences with the streaming service. It might start out with, 200-300 channels or whatever. And then they'll have people that will have an opportunity to earn free Netflix and different things like that. But those things are definitely not free. Okay. That's very, very important to understand that. And this is the pushback that they kept getting when they were looking to the other people that were part of StreamPro, Streamology, and some of these other groups. They could never get the documentation, they could never get the information that they needed. But the only thing I can tell you, most important thing I can tell you, is having been on that call yesterday with Josh for 40 minutes. This man is a man of integrity. We prayed together. We even gave him a word that we felt God gave us for him. And he was so humble. And like I said, to allow a few people to make a phone call like I was able to, he called us, um, that, the world would look at as pretty obscure compared to other people in network marketing. It just shows that he's a man that's humble. He's always wanting to learn, all those kind of things. And so, with that, I want to open it up for anybody to ask any questions that you might have. I'm not going to promise I have the answers, but I will for sure be able to get access to them. I apologize, I couldn't come up with a decent PowerPoint. I really wanted to. I just took a bunch of notes, um, and kind of went from there. There's going to be the founders video from last night's founders meeting for those of us who were part of the original founders. You're listening to this or you're watching this on video recording, just know that you're going to get first right of refusal for becoming part of those 200 units. Once those are sold, they're gone. And that's going to be a big deal for sure. I just realized I've been rocking here, probably making you guys seasick. Um, but these are all really a big thing. So here's my thing. I'm just going to tell basically everybody I know, you need to get into this. You need to become a part of this and check this thing out. It doesn't cost you anything. What do you got to lose? Just take every bit of time you can the next month and just go in and check this thing out. And as soon as that link and information is available, I will make it available to everybody. And then, like I say, I would just get everybody in, and they'll go into your holding tank, and you've got to be, an agent for that to happen. And so, if you're not an agent, which I think everybody is, or most everybody is, then your leads that you bring to the table are just going to go into a holding tank, and then when you sign up, then all those people will become assigned to you. So I'll figure out and find out more about how that's going to work. They have calls. I don't know about tonight, but usually they have two calls, one at 7 o'clock Central and the other one at, 6 o'clock Central and 7 o'clock Central. They have calls every night, and those are an opportunity to be able to learn more about what they do. But I'm just so blown away. This is going their goal. They are the only legal network marketing company in the world in the area of streaming that offers a streaming service. Um, and those of us are part of other network marketing companies. Their goal is to make everybody second. So we're talking about a big, big opportunity here. And for those of you who are working with our other company, bottom line is you'll be able to use these to marry, and I've used them already. I've introduced people to LifeWave that I met through the streaming program, and vice versa. So that's going to be a big deal. All right, I'm going to make sure that everybody gets a hold of this. What I need you to do is I need you to text me your email address. Get ready, 501 605 6935. 501 605 6935. And when the recording is ready, I'll send that out to you. and then you can text me and we can stay in contact. So again, everybody that's on, thanks for coming out.